Welcome to Just Not Cricket, a football podcast. Hal Stewart and Adam Scott presenting this podcast to you. And Adam, do you think we should have called this podcast Blade and Hammer?
No.
The mysterious player of mystery.
It's me, isn't it, this week?
It's you.
And the way it works is I'm going to give Adam a list of clubs that a player, maybe currently still playing or possibly a former pro, played for. And Adam has to work out who this player is. If he gets the player wrong, he gets nil points. If he can't figure it out without the position, but then gets it, he gets 1 point. But if he gets it straight away, it is 3 points. And by straight away, we mean at the end of the podcast, giving you, dear reader, viewer and listener, a chance to try and figure it out for yourself. Are you ready for the clubs?
Do you not want to remind the dear listener of the current score?
The current score is 10-8 because I needed the position last time.
You got a 1 point last time.
Okay, so now you've got a chance to really go ahead. I mean, it could be 8-13 by the end of this. That sounds insurmountable.
Whoa, that is insurmountable.
Vasco da Gama.
Uh-huh.
PSV Eindhoven.
Uh-huh.
Barcelona.
Yeah.
You don't need to say something after each one. Flamengo. Valencia.
Interesting.
Or do you want it in the way I normally deliver it?
No.
Okay. Then a loan spell at Flamengo. Then permanently signing again for Flamengo. Then Vasco da Gama again. Then Fluminense. Then a loan spell at Al Sadd. Then back at Vasco da Gama. Then Miami FC. Adelaide United. Back to Vasco da Gama. And finishing at America, Rio de Janeiro.
Now this feels quite unnecessarily difficult. Adelaide United?
You have 1,000%. I don't like doing a percent with 1,000. You've 100% heard of this player.
He spent the majority of his career outside of Europe, by the sounds of it.
PSV Eindhoven.
Oh, okay. That's
Barcelona. Don't poo-poo the player.
I wasn't poo-pooing the player.
I've got a feeling you might need the position.
Yeah.
Well, we'll come to that later. If you think you've got it in listener land, well done. Adam says it's pretty tricky.
I think it is.
How have you got on? Right, we jump now straight away to stats and stuff. And I've got a few questions for you.
Oh, I love questions.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a question straight away, then we'll come to your stats. How's that? So you can chew over this.
That seems fair.
All right, what links Charlie Daniels, Anthony Knockout, Chris Wood,
The number 7.
Pedro,
The colour purple.
Theo Walcott,
Kayaking.
Eric Lamela, Rui Patricio, and Anthony Martial? What links all of those players? And I'll tell you what, when you were joking around, you weren't far off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you nearly nailed it.
Oh, okay.
In fact, I thought you were about to.
Oh, I have got a clue.
Do you want to think about that for a bit longer, or
I literally
some
have
steer?
no... I don't. Which was the nearest guess?
The first one.
Born on the 7th.
You've actually brought this up before.
Have I?
With Rui Patricio.
Oh, they all wear weird squad numbers.
They all wear...
Is it 11?
Yes!
They all wear number 11.
It is the number 11. They all wear 11 in the Premier League. Only Man City fail to have a number 11.
They don't have a number 11 at all?
No.
Oh, hanging on for somebody good. That's what they're doing. They're waiting till they sign a good player.
I thought that was a really tricky question, and you pretty much got it straight away.
Yes, a very assured guess.
So well done. Right, what have you got?
What have I got? What have I got?
What are you bringing to La
What
Table?
do I have? Do you know Diego Maradona once played for Tottenham?
Really?
Did you know that? He did. He played for Tottenham in a testimonial match for Osiardiles in 1986 against Inter Milan.
Ah, right, yeah, the old testimonials.
There you go, that's a fact. Did you know?
Grab them in the testimonials, that's what Vinnie Jones always used to say.
Did you know Dundee United have played Barcelona 4 times in competitive fixtures, and they have beaten them 4 times in competitive fixtures?
Those Arabs.
Although they have lost in friendly matches against Barcelona, so
Have
you know.
they? And by the way, I called them the Arabs there. That's one of the sort of older
I mean, I
nicknames.
drew a veil over that.
Do you know why they were called the Arabs? It's not anything
just
dodgy.
Your racial slurs.
It's because the pitch used to have sand on it.
Okay.
You know, so when they...
Aren't they called the Tangerines?
Yeah, that's a slightly more appropriate nickname.
Okay.
But I'm old school. I was born in Dundee, and when I was growing up, I called them the Arabs.
Did you favour them over the other Dundee club?
I liked St Johnstone.
Of course, well, why not?
It was much closer
Why
to where
not?
I was
You're
living.
born in Dundee. Why not root for St Johnstone?
Born one place, but then we were much closer to Perth, so I went and watched the Super Jays.
It's a fascinating tale. I've got another little Barcelona fact.
Do you know who I saw? Do you know who I saw playing for St Johnstone?
Shall I stop
When I
now?
was a
Are we
young
not-
lad.
Have we finished with my bit?
I just think for St Johnstone fans listening, right, they might remember
I'll put my pen down.
Tommy Lovencrantz
Tommy, yes.
gracing the turf
Yes.
and a trialist.
He's still gracing the turf in Scotland.
I saw a trialist play for St Johnstone on many friendly matches, and he was
Yeah.
always very good. Don't know why they didn't sign him.
It was excellent. He's still going now to this day.
You do find him pop up.
He is doing the rounds in Scottish
He
football.
hasn't been paid for years.
I have another little Barcelona-linked stat for you. It's more La Liga in general, but La Liga started a Player of the Month award in September 2013, and it was not won by a Barcelona player until November 2015.
That's incredible. Do you know the player that won it?
I do.
Is there a follow-up question that you're expecting from me?
No?
Okay.
It was Neymar. Now, the Premier League is, you probably noticed, it has quite a large foreign influx. I was looking at the coaches in the top 5 leagues in Europe. And do you know how many foreign coaches there were at the start of the 2018-19 season in the 20 clubs that made up Ligue 1?
Ligue 1. So there was Monaco,
Leonardo
And-
Jardim of Portugal, yes. he was
and
one.
PSG.
Thomas Tuchel of Germany, in charge of PSG.
Obviously, I can't think of any more.
Well, at the start of the season, Miguel Cardoso was in charge of Nantes.
So we've got 3.
The Portuguese coach. Michel de Zakarian, the coach of Montpellier, he has been listed as a foreign person, being an Armenian international. I believe he has a French dual nationality. I'm not sure he counts.
Okay.
And also Antoine Combure
Have a half.
of Gangomp, who has also been listed as a foreign person because he's from New Caledonia. But that is a French territory.
it
So again,
is.
I'm not sure he counts either.
Put another half
But
in there.
There was a definite foreign person you did miss out. Gus Poyet started the season in charge of Bordeaux.
When you say started, was he sacked on telly?
I mean, that is tradition.
Yeah, that's the way you get rid of Gus.
Gustavo Poyet. So actually, 4 foreign coaches out of 20.
Very low.
Do you want to have a guess of the 18 clubs of the Bundesliga?
6.
5.
Oh, yeah, that was
Although
slightly
again, 2 of those, Typhoon Korkut of Stuttgart and Niko Kovac of Bayern Munich, both also have German dual nationality. So
Yeah, but
again,
Niko Kovac represented Croatia with distinction alongside
he
his
did.
brother Robert.
And
so you know
I
he's
think
Croatian.
Typhoon Korkut represented Turkey.
Well, you know your Turkish team.
I do.
Because I remember last podcast, I asked you who kicked the ball at Rivaldo.
Hakan Unsal,
Like that!
left back. He had a short spell at Blackburn Rovers.
What's strange is that, I don't know why, but everyone I speak to that loves football seems to remember a random squad from a certain World Cup very, very well. For me, 2002, the South Korean squad, I used to be able to name 1 to 22. And now I probably would struggle.
Yes,
Song Chong-guk was my favourite player.
of course.
In that particular
Fine,
and you were like
fine
that
player.
with the same World Cup with the Turkey
Of
squad.
course, the
So,
Turks.
yeah,
Love
yeah.
me those Turks. 20 clubs in La Liga. How many foreign coaches?
I'm going through some of the teams in my brain. I haven't come up with a foreign one yet.
Oh, that's a very obvious foreign one in La Liga.
Is there?
Been there ages. Won things. Ex-international. Captain. Played against England. Diego Simeone.
I thought you said Serie A.
No, I said La Liga.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking.
I
So
said
I was
La
thinking
Liga.
Serie A. Okay, in Spain, let's go with... Is it more or less?
Then Germany.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Okay, 5.
It's 5.
Wow.
It's just 5. All from the same country, actually. All Argentinian. Diego Simeone, Eduardo Barizzo, Antonio Mohamed, Leo Franco, and Maurizio Pellegrino.
Got to have something to do with the language. You know, if
And-
you speak Spanish, it's so much easier.
And you mentioned Serie A. 20 clubs in Serie A at the start of that season. How many foreign coaches?
0.
1.
Oh, who was that?
Julio Velázquez, the Spanish coach of Udinese.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't have got that. I was still thinking Otto was there. Of course, he's gone now, isn't he?
And that brings us, of course, to the Premier League. 20 clubs. So the highest so far has been 5. So how many foreign coaches in the Premier League? And when I say foreign, I'm going to be really strict and say not English.
Oh, it might even be 12.
16.
No way.
Yes. The only English coaches.
like?
Eddie Howe of Bournemouth, Sean Dyche of Burnley, Neil Warnock of Cardiff, and Roy Hodgson of Crystal Palace. You could possibly throw in Mark Hughes as well, but you know, Welsh. Transfers.
Oh, yeah.
You know, transfers?
Yeah.
When one player
Like
moves to another club and
like the kind of stickers you put
and
on your
a
arm.
fee is involved.
Like a fake tattoo.
Yeah, I'm just ignoring you.
Did you ever do them?
No.
Did you never?
No.
What about stickers on your bike and spokes on your wheels?
I had a Nintendo.
Which one?
All of them.
Did you have a NES, a SNES? Did you have a 64?
I had a Game Boy.
And a Game Boy? Yeah, I had a Game Boy. Did you have the big fat grey one?
Yeah.
We had a kid at our school. When you were playing one, you'd be sat down on the bench and he used to run behind you and switch it off. Infuriating.
What a bastard.
Yeah. I wonder what he's doing now. Hang on, I'll just look him up on Facebook.
I hope he's dead.
I wouldn't go that far.
I hope he's living, but not a good life.
Let me look him up on Facebook. Oliver Hinchcliffe. See what he's doing. I'm bound to have some friends in common. He's working at Asda! He's working at Asda! Oh, he hasn't aged well.
There we go. That was an interesting diversion.
Keeps cats. Oh, he's lost most of his hair. Yeah, sorry.
Transfers.
Yeah.
You know, the world transfer record has been broken many, many times. These transfers have all been to clubs in England, France, Spain, or Italy, bar two. The two that did not involve a player going to a club in one of those leagues were, in 1922, Sid Pudfoot
That's a fake footballer.
moved from West Ham United to Falkirk in Scotland for £5,000.
I can't think of too many that have trodden that route.
And 10 years later, this is the only record transfer at this time to actually be outside of the UK. 10 years later, in Argentina, Bernabe Ferreira moved from Tigre to River Plate for £23,000. So that was the only two times,
That's great, that.
at time of speaking, that a record transfer has moved to a club outside of England, France, Spain, or Italy.
Who was your favourite big transfer? You're one that maybe when you were growing up you think of, that was my big transfer. I mean, for me, Den Nielsen, when he went to
I was going
Real
to say
Betis.
Den Nielsen.
Because he was a bit of a flop.
It just didn't work out at all.
But for a left winger, because I used to play left wing.
Den Nielsen of York City.
The only similarity. But yeah, that was definitely mine. Was that where you were going to go the same way?
I was definitely going to say Den Nielsen,
You
obviously.
could have a different one now.
Vieri.
Christian Vieri.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was worth the money, though.
Yeah, he really was.
Because he was awesome.
I prefer a flop that's a huge amount of money.
I know, I couldn't think of any other flops.
Gigi Lentini.
Yeah, it was a little bit before my time. He moved to Torino, didn't he?
And he got injured. That
13 million?
Yeah, I mean, he even brought up questions, I believe, by the Pope about how vulgar the transfer was. But unfair on him, really, because he had a car accident and that sort of ruined his playing career.
I discovered while looking into world record transfers that Sunderland, in their history, broke the transfer world record 4 times.
That's amazing.
4 times. In 1904, Alf Common, and you should know this, he moved from Sheffield United to Sunderland for £520. In 1922, Warney Cresswell moved from South Shields to Sunderland for £5,500.
Is that what Neil Warnock and Richard Cresswell's son would be called?
It is. In 1923, Bob Kelly moved from Burnley for £6,500. And then in 1950, Trevor Ford, I'm sure we all remember him, moved from Aston Villa for the princely sum of 30 grand.
I'm a married man with 6 kids, don't you know?
Chris Coleman.
Again.
Why are we doing Chris Coleman?
Because he's talking about Sunderland.
Also, Trevor Ford, I believe, was Welsh.
Was he?
I believe so.
And that's what that
I
accent
thought
most
you
definitely
were
was.
being very, very clever there.
No.
Thought you were linking it all in. No.
Pretend I
No.
was. Okay, I looked up something that I thought was really interesting. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, at time of recording, has won every single game ever as a manager with Manchester United.
Ever.
And he's actually looking like the real deal.
The real, or the Real deal, as he would be called in Spain.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer played in Norway, and his first club was called Klauseneggen.
Klauseneggen, I loved him in Terminator.
In 1990 to 1994, he played for Klauseneggen. He played 109 times. Just want to guess how many goals he scored?
Well, it must be quite a few, because he's a striker.
It's like championship manager territory here.
So how many games?
109.
98.
115.
Ah!
Over a goal a
there
game.
There you go.
Now, Klauseneggen Football Club. They don't exist anymore.
Oh, no.
They were a football club located in Kristiansund in Norway. Yes. Many famous players graced this small club. I mentioned Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but also Ovinda Leonardsen.
Ex of Liverpool and Tottenham.
And Wimbledon. Trond Andersen, you probably remember him. and Arald Stavrum, who I always used to sign on these old football management games. Now, in the autumn of 2003, they were defunct, and two rivals, Kristiansund FK and Klaus Enegen, agreed to establish a new elite. The Serie is the top league in Norway, so they actually all are now a top league side, and they're called Kristiansund BK. So I feel like Kristiansund and Klauseneggen merging, Kristiansund got the better of the name deal.
Yeah, the other one didn't get anything.
Big time. Can you imagine, like, even now trying to merge in the UK two sides? Merge Sheffield United and Sheffield Wednesday.
Oh, that'd work.
We'll be called Sheffield United, and we'll play in red and white. I mean, that's pretty much what Kristiansund managed to do here.
You mentioned Dundee earlier. I mean, those two grounds are sort of a literal stone's throw from each other.
Yeah, I've walked across from one to the other.
I feel like if you suggested some kind of merger, you would possibly be lynched in the town square.
Well, Dundee United fans would throw sand in your face, and they'd be right too, sir.
Wikipedia Club.
We haven't done enough for you.
I could do that. It's what the people want.
I feel like I could disappear today and you could do the whole thing on your Todd.
No one wants that.
Tell you what no one wants. More Rudy von Tempelschlurpen songs.
Oh, I mean, yeah,
I thought last week's
well
was
on board with that.
was actually chart material.
Yeah.
No, really strong.
What chart are we talking about?
The good chart, the best chart.
I was trying to think of a bad chart. No.
Top of the Pop's only on once a year.
Is it?
Around Christmas, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
around Christmas.
Around
or
Christmas.
at Christmas.
I can't remember.
Who knows?
Don't watch it.
Hi, Hal.
Adam, you don't need to do that every time. I mostly cut that out. I think I did last week. Do you even listen to this?
Yes.
We need the numbers.
I feel like you'll recognise this name. Fenerbahçe SK.
It's interesting that you're doing them at the moment, because at time of recording, they are poo.
Well, thank you for jumping to the end.
Sorry. I've got a soft spot for Fenerbahçe because they are kind of twinned with Sheffield United. And
Are they,
they're
though?
the only Turkish side I've seen live. I once met Pierre Webo when he was playing for Real Mallorca.
Fenerbahçe legend.
Well, I had a little chat with him. You know, when you're queuing to go through security, he was behind me at the airport. And I stopped, turned around and have a little chat because we weren't going anywhere particularly fast. Mario Suarez was in front and asked Mario if he would come and play for Sheffield United, and he said,
Would
who?
you like something to collect all these names you're dropping?
And Pierre Webber put his hand on my shoulder and said, hey, Inglés, rapido.
Should you have been?
No, that was the
Were
thing.
you just holding up the whole
I gave
queue?
him such a dirty look because there was nowhere we could go. And then I felt like, can I talk to him? Is he going to be annoyed? I don't know why, but for some reason after that, I decided to follow his career quite closely.
What do you play for? One of your favourite clubs?
Well, Real Mallorca at this
Real
time.
Mallorca.
Yeah. He was
Yes.
all right. He was a good striker.
Yeah. Good striker. Terrible traveller.
Rude man.
Fenerbahçe are a Turkish football club based in the Fenerbahçe neighbourhood of the Kadıköy district of the beautiful city of Istanbul.
Yeah, I've been to their stadium. It's just over the river.
It is just over the river. Again, you're jumping ahead.
Sorry.
Fenerbahçe is a multi-sport club competing in basketball, volleyball, athletics, swimming, sailing, rowing, boxing and table tennis, and occasionally football.
I know that we have Galatasaray fans, so I feel like we should appease them.
Uh-huh.
Should we also just say
It's not the BBC.
we also like other Turkish teams just as much?
Well, we're not giving an opinion on Fenerbahçe.
I am.
Well, actually, you have given an
I have.
opinion. I haven't. The club was founded in 1907 by a small group of locals who believed that Kadıköy was in sole need of a football club. But the founding was done secretly, as the ruling sultan at the time, Abdul Hamid II, had forbidden the Turkish youth to engage in the game that was so popular with the rich English families that lived in the capital.
Well, who's your favourite sultan?
The Sultan of Swing. Actually, I think they were pluralised, weren't they?
Sultans, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you like one of them
The
more.
dude from Aladdin, he was nice.
Okay.
Officially, they became a football club a year later when the laws were changed.
Brunei for me, thanks for asking.
The Turkish league went professional in 1959 with Fenerbahçe defeating Galatasaray in the final of the first tournament. The club have gone on to become one of the most successful and popular sides in Turkey and hold the honour of never having been relegated.
They're like the Everton of Turkey.
Fenerbahçe, colloquially known as the Turkish Everton, have won the Turkish Super League 19 times and have become runners-up 22 times. They won the old National Division 6 times, the even older Football Championship 3 times. They've won 6 Turkish Cups, 9 Turkish Super Cups, 8 Prime Minister's Cups. Yes, if you win that, you become the Prime Minister.
Yeah,
Yes.
you knew where I was going.
Yes. 2 Ataturk Cups and a Balkans Cup, which is actually their most successful run in continental football.
Are they on the Asian side of the river? Do you know, in Istanbul?
We're getting to
All
that.
right, I'm just trying to do things
Good
that
Lord.
in case you've missed something out.
In Europe, their achievements are thus: in the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup, do you remember that? Best result was in 1963-64. Do you remember that season?
No, I was not alive.
They were quarter-finalists. They were eliminated by the Hungarian side, MTK Budapest. They lost 2-0 in Budapest, won 3-1 in Istanbul, which was obviously for mass fans is 3-3. No away goals at this point, no penalty shootouts. The match was decided in Rome, a game played in Rome.
Gladiatorial knife
in which
fight.
MTK won 1-0.
Oh, they played another game. Okay.
Oh, yes, no. So you actually thought it was a proper sort of
Tried
pick
it.
their biggest player and pit him against the next one?
Always is your biggest player as your sub-goalkeeper.
Of course.
Adam, if you had to have a, like Game of Thrones style, a champion fight for you from the West Ham squad, who'd you go with?
The current squad?
The
or
current
just
squad.
Ever?
Well, you can go ever if you can't think of anyone from the current squad. So who would be your champion?
Probably. I mean, because he's got a reputation a bit of a hard man. He's currently injured, so maybe not the best timing. But Fabian Balbuena,
Yeah.
the centre-back, he's known as the General.
Arnautovic strikes me as someone that if he was in like a slight crisis,
Yeah.
like he's, let's go with the Fire Festival, for example, that's sort of doing the rounds on Netflix at the moment, and he'd arrived and like a tent was wet from the rain, he goes instant, knives are out, I'm going to start punching random people, I'm going to steal everyone's water. There was a guy in the documentary who was a little bit like that. That's my Arnautovic. He goes from 0 to 60 in a second. I think you want him.
I feel like in a crisis he would not be there.
He just disappear.
I feel like he's got the reputation.
He's off to China. Is that what you're saying?
No, he is categorically not off to China. He has said he's very happy staying where he is. That has absolutely nothing to do with the Chinese deal collapsing before he said that. Fenerbahçe in the Champions League, they reached the quarterfinals in 07-08 where they were beaten by Chelsea. They beat the Blues 2-1 in Istanbul, but lost 2-0 at Stamford Bridge to go out 3-2 on aggregate. And continuing a theme in the Europa League, their best finish was in 2012-13 where they reached the semi-finals, once again winning their game in Istanbul against Benfica 1-0 and then losing 3-1 in the Portuguese capital. Excellent home record, sadly not the best travellers. The club play in their recognisable navy blue and yellow stripes. They play at the Sukru Sarakoglu Stadium, the site of the very first football pitch in Turkey.
Nice.
It has been renovated over the years to the modern stadium it is today, with a capacity of...
I'm going to say 45,000.
Oh, you are so close. 47,834. Fenerbahçe, you may be aware, have a bit of a rivalry
With Galatasaray.
with Galatasaray. I mean, they have a bit of a rivalry with Besiktas as well, but Galatasaray is the big one. Games between the two clubs are known as the Eternal Rivalry or the Intercontinental Derby for reasons that you have touched on, in that Galatasaray are situated on the European side of the Bosphorus, the river that runs through Istanbul, and Fenerbahçe are on the Asian side. There's been some very famous fixtures between the clubs. You probably remember Graham Souness.
Oh, with the flag.
Got involved. He was the coach of Galatasaray at the time. They played at Fenerbahçe. Galatasaray won, and Graham Souness marched onto the pitch and planted a Galatasaray flag in the centre circle at Fenerbahçe's stadium.
Ill-judged, I think.
He remains a legend amongst the Galatasaray faithful for that.
Oh, well, I
but
thought
yes.
it was for the moustache. Never mind.
He did have a fine moustache.
Fine moustache.
388 times the clubs have played each other. Fenerbahçe have won 146 of those. Galatasaray 123.
Ooh, Fener have got the upper hand.
Do have the upper hand. Can you think of any ex-Fenerbahçe players of note?
Colin Kazim Richards.
Colin Kazim Richards, who also played for Galatasaray.
Yeah, and Sheffield United.
And Sheffield United.
And he was the Coca-Cola kid. Do you remember that?
I vaguely remember that.
Coca-Cola ran a competition where fans could, buy a load of Coke, and then someone would randomly be selected, and if whoever they supported, the Coke would give the club that they supported money to purchase a player.
Yeah.
And it was a Brighton fan, I think. And they decided with, I think it was 100,000 to use the money to buy Colin Kazim Richards, which was an excellent bit of business because he was an exceptional player.
Yes, where is he now?
Brazil, I heard. He had gone to Brazil.
He has been jet-setting.
Yeah. He keeps dogs as well.
Oh, there you go.
A lot of dogs. Who else? Raul Moreles, definitely.
Well, I haven't written him down, so it doesn't count.
Did Alpai play there?
Rustu, the former international goalkeeper. Yes, he
Webbo, I've already mentioned.
Middlesbrough attacker Sunil Tunchai.
Did Pierre Van Hooijdonk play there?
Pierre Van Hooijdonk. JJ Okocha.
Yeah.
Ariel Ortega. Nicolas Anelka. Diego Lugano, the former Uruguayan centre-back. Dirk Kuyt. Nani. Roberto Carlos.
Did Stephen Apaya play there as well?
Stephen Apaya. They've had some big names.
Yeah.
And Alex de Souza, the Brazilian international, who kind of went under the radar a bit. I think he had a spell in Parma and didn't really make the grade. Went back to Brazil, went to Fenerbahçe, and was fantastic. Attacking midfielder. Played 245 games for them. Scored 136 goals.
That is incredible.
Played a few times for Brazil as well. Currently, they have a sort of a core of Turkish internationals. Volkan Demirel, the goalkeeper, very experienced. Mehmet Topal, former Valencia midfielder, and the defender Hassan Ali Kalderim. And also sprinkled with some maybe not quite as high calibre foreign talent as they have had in the past. The former French international Mathieu Valbuena's there. The ex-Liverpool defender Martin Skrtel. Roberto Soldado, the Spaniard formerly of Tottenham.
I mean, soldier.
Carlos Kameni, the goalkeeper, Cameroon international. Andre Ayew, who has plied his trade in the Premier League, currently on loan from Swansea City. The Mexican international centre-back Diego Reyes. And the Chelsea winger Victor Moses has just joined on loan at time of speaking. I mean, we mentioned how they've never actually been relegated. Currently third bottom.
Tough times.
Of the Super League. Philip Cocu, the Dutch coach, he came and he has gone.
He cockooed it up.
I mean, Dutch coaches at the moment who have earned their plaudits in the Dutch League and then gone abroad, struggling.
Yeah.
Frank de Boer, Inter, and then at Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Dreadful
didn't work
times
out at all.
both clubs. And Philip Cocu, only lasted a few months at Fenerbahçe, although it is a pretty tough gig.
Then this is probably the worst squad Fenerbahçe have had for some time.
They are having a bit of a financial issue as well. I mean, Turkish football has a bit of a financial issue currently. I mean, they used to sign some very big-name players on
as we've
big money.
mentioned.
Wesley Sneijder, of course, the biggest, probably
was
the biggest
thinking
name, going to Galatasaray, but currently having to cut their cloth slightly differently in Turkish football. Do we have to say how much we enjoy Fenerbahçe as well as Galatasaray?
Yeah, say them all now.
As Besiktas,
Bursaspor,
Istanbulspor,
yeah, all the spores.
Trabzonspor, all of those spores.
I like spores.
We love those spores, all of them. We are not siding in any particular way in the Istanbul football rivalry. We love them all equally. In fact, Hal has one of those scarves where he's got all three.
Gala,
Besiktas,
Fenerbahçe.
Because you know you enjoy that River Plate Boca scarf that you have.
Is that you done?
Let's say, how do I normally end?
And that is your Wikipedia club this week, Fenerbahçe.
Oh, that was good. Well, yeah,
stick with that.
I love that.
The mysterious player of mystery.
Let's reveal the mysterious player of mystery. Adam, the club's for you again. Vasco da Gama, PSV Eindhoven, Barcelona, Flamengo, Valencia, Flamengo, Vasco da Gama, Fluminense, Al Sadd, Vasco da Gama, Miami FC, Adelaide United, Vasco da Gama, and America Football Club of Rio de Janeiro. Do you need any help?
It will please you immensely to know that I'm clueless.
Good, that is good.
I'm assuming that this is a Brazilian.
You are correct.
And that seems like a safe assumption. PSV. See, now famously,
you know a Brazilian
Fat
when you
Ronaldo played for PSV and then went to Barcelona. But that's where the similarities end with this player, because all of the clubs that Ronaldo played for that you weren't on your list.
That's a good way of deducing that it's not Ronaldo.
So I'm really struggling to think of a Brazilian that played for PSV and then went to Barcelona. And was Valencia in there as well?
Yep.
Was that immediately after? No, there wasn't. There was Flamengo.
Went back to Brazil with Flamengo. Yeah, surprising transfer, really, because didn't do badly at any of these clubs.
And then went to Valencia.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, you're going to have to give me the position, I feel.
Striker!
That hasn't really helped.
Well, he's not a goalkeeper. Surely that's helped.
Because I'm thinking of Brazilian... I was trying to think of Brazilian strikers that play for Barcelona. Obviously, Ronaldo. Giovanni had I don't know if he played in...
I'm not going to make it as difficult as Giovanni.
I mean, it feels difficult.
It's not, and I know there'll be people listening screaming the answer out at you.
Yeah? Is it going to be that obvious? Am I going to be really cross?
I'm not going to say any more.
See, Kerrison played for Barcelona. I honestly don't know, and it's going to really bug me when you tell me, because I like to think it's not going to be somebody too obscure.
Well, it certainly makes it a lot more interesting for next week if you don't get it.
I can't even hazard a decent guess.
No idea.
Yeah, I think I have to.
Wow, you're going to kick yourself.
I'm really disappointed.
What if I give you what they did nationally? You can't guess now. You've not got it.
Oh, you know, that's
national
officially,
team-wise.
this is officially a nil point.
For Brazil under-20s, played 11 times, scored 11 goals. For Brazil under-23, played 11 times, scored 15 goals.
Yeah.
For the Brazilian national team, played 70 times.
Really?
55 goals.
Oh, my word.
This is a world superstar. Was also a manager of Vasco da Gama, 2007, 2008.
Do I have it?
I'm not going to give you the points, but you can say it.
Bebeto.
It's not Bebeto with a baby swinging. Romario.
Oh, you went that far back.
It's not really that far back. He finished in 2009.
I didn't realise he played for PSV Eindhoven.
Yeah, most of his career was, of course, as you mentioned, in Brazil, but he played 107 times in the league for PSV Eindhoven, 96 goals.
I remember him joining Adelaide United now because I believe he was signed solely to play for them in the Asian Champions League, but wasn't allowed to.
Yeah, so he played in the league for them 4 times, 1 goal. And I mentioned America of Rio de Janeiro. He did sign for them in 2009, but never actually made a league appearance. His entire career in the league, 448 appearances, 309 goals. Romario de Souza Faria, now a Brazilian politician.
Yes, Member of Parliament.
Yeah, in the 2010 general election, he was elected to the Chamber of Deputies on the Brazilian Socialist Party ticket. He was the 6th most voted candidate for the deputy in Rio de Janeiro. FIFA Golden Ball in 1994 as player of the tournament. He was named FIFA World Player of the Year the same year. He came 5th in the FIFA Player of the Century internet poll in 1999. Was elected to the FIFA World Cup Dream Team in 2002. Was named in the FIFA 100 list of the world's greatest living players in 2004. He's one of very few strikers to surpass the mark of 1,000 goals in his entire career and is the 2nd most prolific goal scorer in the history of football. His son...
I feel like you're kind of implying that this wasn't obscure.
His son, Romarinho, also plays for Vasco da Gama, and that is your mysterious player of mystery, Romario.
In my defence...
You have no defence.
In my defence, I only really started taking an interest in about 98,
when
the World
he was
Cup, and of course
playing...
the Brazilian squad, the Brazilian strike force in 98 was Ronaldo, Bebeto, and of course Edmundo.
Yeah.
Romario didn't make it, didn't make the grade.
Amazing. Still
if you'd
didn't.
picked Edmundo, I would have nailed it.
In 98, he was playing at Flamengo, 39 appearances, 26 goals, and didn't make it to the World Cup.
Well, exactly. Past his best. Almost forgotten, you might say.
By you.
I'm a little bit annoyed by that.
Yeah, I can tell. You fed up?
Fed up now.
Okay.
Fed up.
You know what to do.
Leave.
I could do something we've never done before.
Oh, what?
I could set a question
Yeah.
that we answer next time.
Good. Is there going to be a next time?
Yes, we'll do.
Okay.
We'll probably do another one. Who was the first ever Premier League manager sacked? There we go. Timeless. That's never going to change.
That's a good question.
There we go. We'll leave that one there. We will try and remember to answer it next time here on Just Not Cricket. By the way, check us out on Twitter at JNCPod and give us a review on iTunes. 5 stars, nothing less.
5 stars, nothing less. What if they don't like it?
Don't review us.
Well, that feels like you're just asking for trouble.
It does, doesn't it?
Yes.
I'm sticking with it.
They can.
Neck is
your
on the noose.
reviews can be as honest as you like.
Lie.
One of us can take criticism.
That is... Can you?
I just don't read it.
Oh, okay, right. But you can't take
So
it.
in this... well, I can.
Can you?
See, some of the things... I don't know if you noticed, but we were on Pointless. And some of
I
the
actually
things...
got a message not so long ago saying, can you stop talking about when you were on Pointless?
It's relevant because some of the things people said
Yeah.
on the Twitter were quite hurtful.
About me?
Oh, no.
There was one about you.
Yes, and it was very hurtful.
You came across very well.
But that Scottish man called me the C word.
I know, you keep mentioning that. It was about 5 years ago. Let it go.
One day I will find him.
It's a term of endearment in Scotland.
And I will run him down with my car.
My parents contemplated that as my first name.
So in Brazil, where Romario is from,
Do you just not want to go today? You're just having such a good time.
They have a very famous beach,
Yeah.
the Copacabana.
Oh, I see where you're going.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Should I continue?
I feel bad for interrupting you.
Yes, you did. You did. I like to think if we were on holiday in Brazil,
I like this way you're doing it. This is
you
better.
might be bimbling about doing stuff.
It's not just a hard in.
And I'll get bored waiting for you.
Bored of the bimble.
And I will just turn to you and I will say... It doesn't work though, does it?
No, because we're already there as well, aren't
we? Okay, there's a third person.
Right.
And we're tired of waiting for them.
Yeah. Is it Stevie?
And we'll just turn to them and we say, we'll see you at the beach. Seamless.
Yeah, best one yet.